Hello and welcome to the AmphibPod, where we talk about Amphibia here on the Amphibia YouTube channel. I'm your host for today, Alex Bonilla, and I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Ali Martin.
Hello.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
It sounded nervous, but there's no pressure. Even if it's been like a long time, we're all just really excited.
It has been a while.
Yeah, listener, if we kept that in, the reason that this has been a long time is the last time we talked about Amphibia podcast format was the season 3 premiere episode. And since then, we've, spent the whole half season in Los Angeles. We've returned back to Amphibia at that point. We've gotten a whole lot of prophecy dumps. So there's a lot to talk about with Amphibia in this time. So I think the way we'll do this is we'll begin with a general roundtable of like what has stood out to us the most in this first half of season 3, and we'll dive a little deeper into that as well as some of the extra lore information and some of the character themes that have come up in this season. So we'll start with you, Michelle. Of all these episodes that have aired in season 3 so far, what's the thing that you've been most excited to see develop over the course of those?
There are definitely a lot of things I could take an opportunity to dig into, but I actually want to be really strategic.
Good.
And not talk about lore yet, even though obviously that's like fresh in all of our minds because of yesterday's episode drops. I actually kind of want to talk about Anne's parents and how great they are. I mean, one of the things I didn't anticipate, but I've grown to really love about season 3 is just how much like intentional time we've been spending with Anne's parents and how much we're seeing, like what Anne's life was like before Amphibia when she was just like a quote unquote normal teenage girl. Any opportunity they give us to like show us, like the Asian food market or like going to the temple and like integrating the planters and just why the Christmas float was so important to Anne's mom and just like, all that stuff is so good. And I didn't expect that to keep showing up as frequently as it did, but every time it did, it just felt so nice and rewarding. It was giving so much contextual information. Like, I don't know, for Amphibia, like, I'm a pretty easy crier, so either when it was like a really sweet, like, Sprig and Anne moment, or like anything with Anne's parents being really like honest and upfront about what this situation with Anne being gone has done to them. Temple Frogs is such a good episode, but I mean, like, the moment when, Anne, like, doesn't want to, like, do the thing for an hour. She's still impatient, which I love, even despite how much Anne has continued to grow. And she still, like, doesn't want to, like, hang around for an hour and see all these people who know her. She just feels like she has better things to do. But, like, when her mom talks to her and she, like, has that collection of dishware, right? And she's like, why do you think I have these, Anne? And Anne's like, I don't know. You threw a fun potluck or something? And she's like, no. While you were missing, we were, like, so depressed. The community came together to feed us and look after the store. And so now I'm bringing all of it back. And just, oh my God, like those moments, they're so heavy, but I'm so glad that they're including them because they legitimize the stakes of what a situation like this would actually do to a family if their kid gets isekai'd, And, oh man, I mean, like, so that's like a moment I honestly think like low-key is like so good and one of my favorites. And then like the Christmas episode's great. I like the fact that Anne's parents are so into Christmas. At first I was like, why are they so into Christmas? And then I realized, because like when Anne's mom talks about the float, she's like, well, the reason like I wanted to do this float is because like me and your dad had a really hard time fitting in here when we moved from Bangkok. And I thought like, if we got to be in this float parade, which is a big local deal, then we'd finally be in and we'd be fitting in and everything would be great. And that also just seemed like such a nice, realistic moment that just resonates so much. And I love that we keep getting stuff like that. And I feel like everyone loves Anne's parents. And there's a lot of, like, they're very supportive to Anne in general. But I love that there's this really nice through line of info like that just kind of, like, contextualizes who these people are. what their struggles are, and just like giving Anne these opportunities to like understand that more than she probably ever has. Like, I do assume that, like, because Anne, you know, she's proved her maturity to her parents, so maybe they feel more willing to be upfront about their own, you know, like, struggles and what's, like, been going on for a while since they've been living in LA. But it's, like, really nice that they can have that together, like, that kind of deeper communication, even though she's still their kid and they're still her parents. So I just love it. I just love that. So that's what I wanted to start with.
I mean, I definitely agree that the time that we spent on Earth in this, a big thing that was really nice to see is the parallels that they were drawing between how Anne has developed in her relationship with the planters to been more as a parent in this new environment, and like now Anne understands why her parents are the way they are, and just like the way that they like connect those two, like the found family and the original family together, just felt very nice in multiple spots, and like it culminates in that episode where they fight in the junkyard, and Anne has to be confronted with the fact that she's hiding things still and not meeting expectations, and so that confrontation carries a lot of weight because they build up in the first half of season 3, like how much she's changed, but also like still having to deal with some latent tensions that had developed between her and her parents before all this happened. So I loved seeing that develop over season 3.
The junkyard's a really good moment. I love that Anne's
mom. That's one of my favorite episodes from the season so far.
I love that she like gets legit upset, and like, you know, like Anne's dad's so easygoing. He's just kind of like, oh, so like all this crazy otherworld stuff is like still like a constant danger and threat. Well, I mean, like, I can understand why you didn't tell us. And Anne's mom's like, no, it's not okay. When are you gonna stop being this kind of like lying kid? And Anne like straight up tells her, she's like, I don't know, like I legitimately don't know, this is a lie, I'm trying my best, but I'm definitely not perfect yet. And I love that for both of them, because it's not like Anne's figured everything out, but I also love that, you know, Anne's mom is like also legitimately concerned, which also makes 100% sense in that situation. So it's just it's so good to see that feel so realistic, honestly.
To bring in the other Disney show going on right now with the Owl House, right? Like with like Luce and her mom, right? Like seeing that happen near the end of the season 2A, and now seeing Mrs. Boonchoi and Anne, like it's like a very similar situation where like it's a good evolution in terms of how we portray moms, where like it's not that mom is like totally evil or anything, or overbearing. Like they have their concerns, but also they're willing to meet their children in the middle. I feel like that's a very nice thing that we're seeing a lot more of in animated shows, that I really appreciate having more of these positive examples.
Important representation.
Yeah, like we don't need to be setting up moms as villains all the time. Like this is a reasonable tension that exists, and a reasonable way to diffuse that tension, or like trying to get to know where each side is coming from. Also, I guess with mom and dad, I do want to say I was very happy that they got a lot of cute moments together.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know, adult love is nice to see. And, you know,
wholesome adult love is good.
Yeah. Thank you, Allie. It's very wholesome.
Gotta be wholesome. As much as we're thirsting over her parents for multiple reasons,
God,
it's great to see them like have a healthy relationship. I want to know how they survived like mentally with Anne being gone for that long. It's very traumatic.
Very traumatic. Well, that's why everyone was bringing them food, because they just could not function for a while, it sounds like. I love that they talk about that. I love that this is a show that isn't just like, oh, you know what happened, but it's fine, let's just focus on the current like thing. But like, no.
With these two shows, like Alex brought up the Owl House, no one's doing it like these shows in terms of like communication between families and like relationships, like even just like with Anne and her parents, and both of them are really like I haven't seen representation like this in cartoons before, ever. Not to this level.
I was going to say there's that one shot where apparently Anne's mom has converted a room into like an Anne shrine.
Oh yeah,
That's
she
creepy.
meets so many Anne because she missed her. I mean, if you gotta cope, that's definitely one way to cope.
Can
It
you
could have been
imagine?
worse.
I don't know what my mom would do. It would have been worse, probably.
Yeah, so the parents has been Anne's parents has been a big piece of it. Ali, has there been another factor of Amphibia that's really stood out to you since we've gone through season 3 here?
So I know, I mean, this may be a bit of a hot take. I wasn't really all that into like the LA plot lines.
Okay.
Ooh, so
Just
the
'cause
entire first half of season
pretty
3.
much. I mean, the thing that made it like, that made me enjoy it was seeing the characters and the relationships that everyone like went through and how they like got through their struggles together, obviously, because that's like the plot of the episodes. But like in terms like generally, I want to go back to Amphibia. It's much more interesting. LA is a real place, and I never want to go to LA. No offense to LA.
Wow.
Does not seem habitable, especially for frogs. I'm still surprised they
It
didn't
is
dry
very
up and die.
there. That's such a good point. I feel like there's like maybe one or two.
I mean, we're talking about
about
logic
it.
and like something that has multiple, like the multiverse. So it's not realistic, but it's fine. I will also say this isn't a hot take. I don't like that RuPaul's in the show, but I do like the character, Mr. X. Is that who it is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
I like what they're doing with him and like the FBI, whatever it is, because I don't know, I'm all about anarchy, and Anne is very much not into authority, which I respect. I like that. I really can't remember any of the characters' names, but the robot girls and the scientists,
Yeah.
and not the librarian, oh my god, museum curator. I don't think that's her title.
Yeah.
But they're all really cool, and I want to see them come to Amphibia. I know this is like kind of going off
That
on a
would be
tangent.
amazing.
Like, can you imagine them fighting these robots, man? It'd
They
be
would
so
do a
good.
good job. I mean, one thing I love about the first half of season 3 is like it's such a parallel to Wartwood, right? Like it's like the Wartwood treatment for the planters. They get to meet all these local people and forge friendships, and then by Escape to Amphibia, all the new LA people they've met like join together and fight to bring them home, which is just like it never gets old. I love when this happens. And they got their own little version of what Anne got in season 1. And I think that in a way is very satisfying. But I do understand, what the biggest like concern slash complaint.
How are they not dead?
My biggest complaint, I guess, I don't like giving complaints for Amphibia because I feel like it feeds me so
Well, it's not really a complaint. It's just like the stuff I'm like less excited about.
The thing that kept bothering me was like I was so concerned about Marcy, and then when she became Darcy, I was like obviously way more concerned than I was to start with. And like I don't know what's happening. We had like one episode where Una and Olivia like were really gay and tried to be her rescue moms, and that didn't work, and now everything's worse, and we just don't know what's happening. And I'm just like,
this is why I also don't appreciate staying in LA.
Yeah, it's like I love all the LA stuff, but like with that just hanging in the background constantly, and like, not being able to see it, it's the worst. It's the worst feeling.
Yeah,
it's a good way to keep people attached.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stick up for LA a little bit. It's just that, like, I think.
I'm not hating on LA.
How dare
no,
you.
I know you were saying, Michelle, too, that you liked it. But, like, I just want to say, like, Amphibia is it is an emotional story, but, like, it's also a comedy. And I think that they play really well with the, like, now the planters are the one that are fish out of water, or frogs out of water. And they use that in a lot of different ways. I mean, the Adventures in Cat Sitting is a
the
real
gags in LA
episode,
are very, top 10.
The gags are nice. Like I'm obsessed with Jesus Christ, which one is that? Like Hollywood Hop Pop? I feel so bad.
The actor one?
Yeah, the one who becomes an actor, like because like he meets his human doppelganger.
Yeah,
and it's so crazy. Like how do they come up with that?
And it's the guy from Princess Bride.
Yes, and it's the best thing in the world. And then he even comes back for his Escape to Amphibia. I'm just like, this was a gift I didn't knew I need. It's like when we were introduced to Michelangelo. It's just like I don't know how this came about, but like thank God it's here, and I never want to not see this character again.
Yeah, pretty. That's how I feel about a lot of the human characters.
Yeah.
I really loved when like they'd take the frogs in multiple situations to like a crowded store. Like the new normal like brings them to the Thai store, and then there's the one where they go to a Costco parody, and
The
there's like
Costco parody was so good.
like I don't, they use that multiple times. But it always is funny to me. Just like, oh, let's just drop the frogs in a big old store and see what they do. Like,
Let's make them take care of Domino and get her to a veterinarian appointment. What could go wrong?
Everything.
Now, I will say the Mr. Ed stuff. I think also what her. I think that does play a little not. It's not as great of a storyline just because I think like you both have said like there's the looming threat of Andrea's stuff. So like in comparison, the Mr. Ed's FBI stuff seems so like small potatoes. Yeah. So it's like I don't know how invested I can be in that, but it does at least build up to Escape Amphibia, which is like a pretty solid
it gives tension,
and it's definitely going to be in the background for the finale at the very least. Like they're totally, I don't know.
Really? I mean, the government just seems like such small potatoes to like King Andreas and his.
But they did
technology.
See this portal get made, so they're going to be like, okay, you scientists, open it up again so we can conquer it. They're going to be like Andreas, and it's going to be like a whole thing. This is getting into the newer episodes, but it's like they're going to have to fight for Amphibious soul and Earth's soul, and don't be corrupt and greedy, and that's what the prophecy is.
God,
it's going to be so good, and I don't want this show to end. Also, I know we're like going like off on a bunch of other things, but I have to say, Sasha has also been a highlight of season 3.
Yeah, I was going to talk about her a little.
Her episode.
Alex, do it. Talk about Sasha.
Her episode and that one that you guys brought up. I forgot it already. Or like the top 3. It's the Junkyard one, Sasha's episode, and the one we were just talking about.
Oh, Turning Point. I'm guessing, right? Point. Yeah, the diary episode.
Oh, and Olivia and Yunan.
Yeah,
that one saw.
But talk about Alex, because
we've had a couple of Sasha episodes recently because like we've had Sasha's Angels, we've had Commander Ann, which is kind of a Sasha episode. Like we're just seeing. Another thing I like about like going back to Amphibia is also like we've changed the dynamic here a little bit too, where like Sasha has taken more of the lead with the native frog population, and is kind of back to like more of an observer status, or like kind of a moral compass. But like Sasha's like taking lead. I really like seeing that change in the dynamic, and also just the fact that Anne gets another human around in Amphibia is nice. And not at each other's throats, and yeah, like I think that they're, especially in the Hometown Road episode, they're hammering a little hard, like the fact that Sasha is like chasing the second chance, like redemption in Anne's eyes, but like also I think it's kind of endearing that like after seeing Sasha like so hardened for so long in this show, like the first 2 seasons. So like seeing her like finally like put some effort into repairing the relationship, like it feels like it doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere, right? Like it feels like it's like
she feels like extra bad about all the betrayal, so she tries way too hard in the other direction to give up all control, which is equally like not helpful.
And they did also say like we'll table our baggage, but like you can't do that 100% when this you're interacting again and there's a lot on the line. You know, you gotta like try at least like 25%.
Yeah.
Maybe they will talk. I don't like. What do you think is going to happen first? They meet Darcy, or they're going to try to talk about?
I think they might. Yeah, Darcy's going to come in and be like, "Hey, girls, slumber party," and they're going to have a lot of trauma to deal with.
Yeah, there's probably still stuff to work out, but like also I think that they've like peppered it a lot in a lot of these episodes to the point where like I think like gradually we're already in the middle of that process anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that moment where they hug it out and they're all blushing at each other. Like that felt like
that you pointed out they were blushing. Hello.
Well, like the shipping side of me is also excited for
cool.
possibilities here.
Yeah, now you've done it.
Talked about this, but like if you guys were gonna ship people, who would you ship? Because I mean,
Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy.
Well,
you're married.
So that's a canon ship already.
God, whenever Mr. Boonchoy blushes at his wife, I'm just like, this is the hottest thing I've ever seen.
There's that moment in the junker where Hop Pop is like, "Are you surprised she did that?" And he's just like, "No."
What have they done in their youth? Like what? I mean, like honestly, Anne's parents
Jim,
are so
that
down
fella.
and so chill. I'm truly shocked that they let Anne go back to Amphibia. Like it's just oh my god. Like parents of the year, parents of the century, there.
Yeah.
And they're hot. Like truly the whole package.
But back to the shipping question. Yeah.
Got sidetracked by the Boone
The
short.
fandom as a whole seems to collectively ship Sasha and Arcee.
Yes, they do. They ship
Which
all
I
three.
really appreciate, but they're also 13.
I think are they 14? I feel like they were supposed to be 16, but then they
Disney aged them
Yeah,
down.
I think some of the fandom takes advantage of the fact that they were intended to be older to have less guilt about
I
it.
respect y'all for that.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like right, at least in these recent episodes, right? I feel like they're like Sasha and Anne just being
We love a good
hard.
friends to enemies to lovers slow burn.
Yeah. I mean I think that's how I felt since season 1. I was like, well, Marcy's like really nice and has a better friendship with Anne until like the betrayal's revealed anyway.
Sure.
But Anne and Sasha have like a spark,
so
you know?
much tension.
There's so much more tension, and tension is just like inherently more fun to ship in my opinion. So I definitely ride the Anne Sasha train. But like, I don't know, if any of them end up being gay, it's gonna be a miracle, and I will freaking lose my mind. But also, no expectation. I'll gather these blush crumbs in the subtle like hand touching and looking into each other's eyes. That's fine. That's all I need. Stay.
Just a lot more warm, intimate hugs. I'll take it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my god, but like when Anne hugs Sasha and she like leans into it and like closes her eyes and is just like reveling in that hug because she wanted that hug for so long. And she had that really amazing line when she's reading the journal at Turning Point and she's like, oh my god, I feel so bad.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm gonna be someone better, someone who deserves you. Like whoa.
Someone that deserves you is a strong line.
I know.
Pretty gay.
Is it like heterosexual to say I want to be someone who deserves you to your best? I don't know.
Fellas, is it gay to want to be someone your best friend deserves?
Yes.
It's a fair point. It is pretty gay. But we also have Sprivey.
Sure.
Hey, look, here's the thing about that.
But they purposefully make it annoying in that episode.
That's what makes it work. Like, everyone is so sick of how in love they are. It's like the perfect way to play their relationship at this point. Yeah. They all ruin the mission because they're too in love. Amazing.
Pretty good. What else is there? I want to see Hot Pop get back with his girlfriend.
Oh
yeah. Where's
Sylvia?
Hasn't happened that he might have like seen her like for a hot second, then we went on to other stuff.
I think but I want to see how like she's a badass warrior. Like she has to fight in the war too.
Oh, I hope so.
She's pretty cool. Shipping is interesting in this show. And there's also
Oh god, don't
stay on it because we're shipping Andreas and that dog.
I was afraid
which is
you're
probably
gonna bring
Sprig
that up.
and Polly's ancestor.
I mean, like it has to be their ancestor. Okay, the only reason people are shipping this is because she's a lady. That's the only. Nobody's shipping like the toad who could be Beryl, which I think probably is the horned toad with Andrews. But the horned toad's right there, and he's cute as heck. I won't swear on this podcast, I promise. But like, why not? They could be a throuple. I mean, I don't think we should leave the horned toad guy out. He seems perfectly nice. Andrews is the only cool one, as far as we know. Yeah, he's cute.
There's also the obvious ship of Olivia and Yunan. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't ship them.
Oh yeah, that's actually an important thing to talk about.
It is. It's one of the best episodes.
The one thing I'd be hard pressed that the crew didn't intend. Like that has to be on purpose,
I agree. There has to be at least one gay couple. Is there another gay couple?
There is. Yeah, the two tech girlfriends.
Right. I knew I was missing something. Okay, so there has to be at least two gay couples in this show.
We have one gay couple who's human. We don't have any amphibia equivalents, so that we need at least one of each. So we need to get our second one.
So they can go on a double date.
So they can finally reference the meme that the water is turning the frogs gay.
Oh my god! Could you imagine? I feel like S3A would like not let that happen.
I think it was intended. It has to have been intended. Matt, show us your memes.
But yeah, there's a moment in Olivia and Yunan I remember where like Olivia falls into Yunan's arms. So, like, well, although Olivia's quickly like, "Get me down" or something.
It's because she doesn't know how to handle her feelings. She's very like she plays like her emotions very close to the chest, so nothing could have prepared her for that.
The big strong lady picks you up. I don't think anyone's going to be prepared.
Exactly.
So yeah, with the we're recording this a week before the Core and the King comes out. So like, well, the first thing we're looking for is any barrel Andrea's shipping.
Oh God, I hope so.
I
Give
think
Barrel his due.
But I think most people are looking forward to that for any extra lore stuff. So I guess here's where we begin talking about some of the lore stuff that's happened in this season. We've definitely gotten a lot more about the Calamity bots. So when they were on Earth, they found that vase with the Sprig ancestor and the bots. We've also just watched the Olm episode where the Mother of Olms lays out the prophecy and adds some extra details that I don't think we had inferred before.
We had not.
Yeah, so I guess Allie, I don't know if you want to go first on like anything that like sticks out to you in terms of like the actual the story that we're working towards here.
Definitely the fact that like everyone's greed created this creature, like that is some powerful stuff, man. And it doesn't die. I'm wondering, I'm really like, how are they going to end this? This is one of those really like, it's sort of I hate to bring this up, but a Ruby conundrum with Salem. Like, if anyone out there wants this Ruby, I apologize. I want to see. I'm also glad that it was established that Sasha and Marcy do have the ability to like unleash powers, and they just have to like have the gems, I guess, or the gems' power, or Anne has to transfer their power. It was a little not misleading, but confusing. But I don't want to see them use it because it's gonna make them feel bad, and especially when Marcy is being controlled by the ultimate evil, is not gonna be good. And I'm ready for the drama. And I just want to know more about the past. Like, we haven't seen the flashback episode, like Alex, you mentioned. What is the episode called? The King's...
The Core and the King.
Thank you, the Core.
That's coming this week.
Forward to that episode, and I don't think I will recover, but is what I've been looking forward to for so long. We all just want flashbacks and reveals.
Yes.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm trying to find where we are in the outline. I'm so sorry.
We're jumping all over the place, but yeah, like I know I'm speak of like talking about the danger of using these powers. I remember, Michelle, from the last time we had the podcast, you had mentioned theory about like if powers coming from like anger or so I'm wondering how you feel about this.
How does it feel to be right all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe anger was like a subsection, because like based on the Mother Olm info dump, it seems like it's more just like maybe, I mean, evil's a strong word, but like maybe like just like negative intention in general is what fuels that power, which is very confusing to me, because if the Olms are like neutral / good, and they're protecting the stones to give them a higher purpose that we still don't have an answer for what that is. But if the higher purpose is either neutral or potentially good, why in the world would the powers themselves come from such a negative set of emotions? That's strange to me, but maybe it's just one of those things where it's like, it's magic. Not all magic is good or like develops from a good place, and like, you know, how you control it or not is just, it depends on like where it's gonna go. I mean, that I guess would explain a little more. Like I'm still not clear, like, so the core exists from negative intentions from past amphibian residents, right. Probably definitely including like Andros's lineage. But like, is it a thing where like the core is literally like absorbing like ill-intentioned people who wield the power of the stones, and that's why it has so many eyeballs, because it's literally like so many people fused into one like all-knowing being? Or is it just like sucking their energy out and then
like
they're
eating
like
people?
Yeah, like that's interesting. I did not see that coming. I do love the idea that like ultimately the prophecy is just 3 people who have the power of the stone, like either could help everything be terrible and like continue along the path that has been for centuries, or they could be the thing that like stops this really bad trend of corruption and greed. Like I love that. It's very, I mean, like, cause like you look at Amphibia and it's, I mean, Wartwood's great, but yeah, like Toad Tower was not like a super nice place. And Utopia had a lot of like behind the scenes latent corruption we weren't just seeing very often. So yeah, like at its core, Amphibia's had a lot of problems for a while. So this completely makes sense. I think this reveal is very in keeping with everything they've laid out so far. But I mean, oh man, I love like, cause like I was always wondering like, why Anne Stone not fully getting charged with the music box was a big deal, because like like the Second Temple felt like such a moment, right? And now we have like the answers, like, oh, okay, so you harness the power, but if you give it all to the stone, then the stone has it, and you can't use that power. So it's only when it's like not quite completely gone that you can like manifest it for yourself. And I love that explanation is why Anne can use her powers and the other two can't. But I mean, yeah, if Anne can transfer and restore Marcy and Sasha's powers, that's going to be so cool.
I need it.
I love that the best line in that episode, like when they're like, oh, does that mean like we're going to get cool anime powers?
Yes.
Of course, you all get anime powers.
Whoopi Goldberg is so amazing. She's like, yes, girl, you should all get cool anime powers.
You get anime powers. You get anime. That's Oprah. I'm sorry.
It's so iconic. It's so good. I can't wait to see their forms. It's going to be such a showstopper moment.
Just the idea of Whoopi Goldberg talking about anime makes me happy for some reason.
Next time my mom puts on The View, I'm going to be expecting her to talk about anime.
But yeah, I am interested to see what mechanic Anne would use to restore Sasha's powers.
Like, do you just have to break the gem?
Yeah, like, can she do it without the bots entirely?
Yeah,
like, can she do it on her own? Or?
That's the part that was confusing me. Like, how?
I was assuming she could just use her power to activate, but yeah, maybe she does still need access to the stone.
She just has to give her a kiss.
Oh my
activate
God.
the powers.
And then they both kiss.
That's a fanfic.
It totally is. It has to have been written already now since yesterday.
Probably, yeah.
Y'all fans are quick. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, another detail here is in the Olivia and Yunnan episode, we got a little bit more about the core, the thing that is inhabiting Marcy now. Andreas called it a collection of Amphibia's greatest minds. So, like, I wonder if that's a thing where, like, everybody who is smart enough in Amphibia to be powerful just kind of, like, leaned into the darkness of power. Nobody ever used their intelligence for good.
That's a very sad notion.
And like Marcy, like to an extent, is like it was in a similar pattern, right, where she like manipulated Anne and Sasha into working together for this overall
very
purpose.
true.
So it's like she was going in the same path there. So.
No.
The lesson is everyone has justifications for what they think is right and what they choose to do. But also the Ohms are like, no, that's evil and corrupt. Don't do that.
Well, speaking of like, I think Ali mentioned the detail that it lives forever. That there's a weird line that Andrea says of like, until we met the shadowfish, we learned to conquer death.
Yeah,
which is like such
what
a
is any of that?
thing.
Maybe it'll be in the flashback. The shadowfish. Yeah, I don't think we've seen one of those.
Maybe it's like, is it related to the core somehow?
Yeah, I mean, if it's learning to conquer death means, we've learned how to store all these souls in this one.
Yeah, the core is literally the thing conquering death. I don't think anybody else has that power.
We'll get into, do you want to live forever if it means living in like a fishbowl on somebody's head?
Absolutely not.
I mean, honestly, what is the goal of the core at this point, though? Because it seems pretty close to completely controlling Amphibia. So is the next step just to invade Earth and do the same thing? It seems like,
conquering worlds, period. Just be the master of the universe.
But, like, if they're always serving the core, isn't that kind of lame? They're just like a middle manager. Like, that does not seem like a great job.
Yeah, but You could be the co-manager of the universe. I think that's their idea.
That's true. You could be the middle manager of the universe.
There's nowhere else to advance.
Andreas loves being an assistant regional manager. And the one small thing, like with the vase that we had there, we haven't really gotten much explanation about that yet. But I just like the idea that it's the Sprig ancestors showing it to Vikings. I like they just popped up back then, and these like Vikings with no idea of technology are just like, whoa, floating frog.
We better make a
people,
vase
right?
We better make a vase about this to commemorate that crazy encounter with a god.
I see they are people.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be Vikings or just some old seafaring people.
Vikings. And she definitely is there's a portal behind her, and then there's the box. They probably just thought they met Frog God, which they're not quite wrong.
They're not wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
Frog God.
Fraud?
No,
that's bad.
No, it works. It does work.
Well, what is the thing that? Well, I guess they only say "Oh my frog" all the time.
Yeah.
They don't have a frog god equivalent. Yeah, so there's a lot of questions that are still lingering about the lore stuff that I'm sure we'll get into. But it's been interesting to see all the added details they've been throwing in. So we'll see how that all wraps up. Yeah, I guess from here, we can just talk about any other major episodes or themes that have stuck out to us. I don't know if anybody has anything big that they want to discuss here about
I'm
it.
going through the episode list. Let's see. Oh no.
A lot.
Oh, there's so many. Oh, Polly's. No, we talked about that. At the end of season 2, she had legs. Hello.
The legs?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Frobo becoming a cute little car. That's pretty awesome. It's a good look for him. He's rocking it. I didn't know about it when I saw it in the intro, but now I'm completely on board.
It's pretty good. I want to see him fly, though. Could be a little helicopter, too.
How is he going to react to all the, evil Frobos that are just everywhere?
He's gonna free them.
Frobo has to lead the robot rebellion.
Oh my god, I hope he does. That'd be so great.
He has to. I feel like Polly's definitely gonna lead that rebellion, but he's gonna be the general.
Right there with her, yeah.
It's gonna be great. I still wanna know how those started. Is that I guess just ancient technology. That was resolved-ish. Maybe.
I guess just ancestral technology from Andreas's family, because he knew how to activate the factories, the Frobo factories. So it seems like it's info he probably got from his dad, who got it from his dad.
Yeah. The Frobo episode did have a very iconic joke about the Star Wars prequels of parroting the Anakin love scene. And also
that was amazing. Oh my god, what a good reference.
And insulting the planters for liking the prequels, but they were watching it in order, so
So you'll accept Star Wars references, but draw the line at Sonic.
Mm.
We don't draw the line. There's been plenty of Sonic.
Not enough. Never enough Sonic. Alex, I like this note, or whoever wrote it, that from Fight at the Museum, we realized that the amphibians are flat earthers. I forgot about that.
There's so many good things like that.
And I think that's a recurring joke, because doesn't Sprig on YouTube, Sprig on YouTube at some point in the earlier season is hey, did you see this video about flat Earth or something? I vaguely remember that.
Sprig would be that impressionable. You gotta be careful. The internet's a dangerous place for a good-hearted boy.
Going back to Amphibia means we get some Grime again, and Grime has been a nice presence to have back more consistently. Just he adds a much needed gruffness to the whole affair. And also we got Grime and Beatrice in the most recent episode.
Yes,
that was so good.
Do we have any big Beatrice fans here? I know that there's I've seen on Twitter there's some people.
I just saw yesterday a lot of people made human Sona fan art of her, and now I'm a bigger fan.
I like her. I think she's really fun. I think I just like Grime.
I just want to know why she has some sort of weird accent and Grime doesn't.
She wanted to.
Fine, but
be an individual, not just some guy's sister, you
she's
know?
putting
So
on
an
an
accent
accent to be
helps.
original.
Yeah, exactly. She's forging her own identity.
You do you,
Grimes
girl.
family.
I understand completely.
Why do both of them have like blind eyes? What happened? Did they fight each other? And they both were blind in one
An
eye?
eye for an eye.
Yeah,
Wow.
what they did.
Wow.
I'm really curious.
That's some good backstory, if that's true.
Grimes Beecher's backstory flashback.
Yeah, we need to see Grime as Lil Tyke boy.
God. I do
People
like
say Little Tyke anymore.
Grimes is very gruff, but he also is like really good about like real talking Sasha when it comes to like Anne relationship stuff. Being like, I know you miss her. I know you should just go talk to her. Which is just, I don't know, just because it's Grimes and just like you assume he would not like be the kind of person who is equipped for that at all. But he always is every season, and it's so satisfying.
There's a moment in Turning Point where like they split up for a little bit, but then Graham comes back. It's like,
oh no,
Beatrice had something that I didn't have here. You like it's like such like the sweetest moment.
That was so sweet. I was afraid you were going to talk about the potato thing because I've never.
Well,
that was so emotionally scarring.
The potato thing?
Why did that explode the internet? I mean,
seriously. So Allie, Grime jumps into Hot Pop's bed and pulls out a magazine, and the magazine folds out, and he's like staring at it like, that is a big potato.
I'll never forget that. It was
Which also implies that Hot Pop is reading this at nights as he falls asleep.
Like he's literally a farmer, so like it makes a little more sense why he'd have that. But
I think it's never mind. I don't want to make you censor anything.
Well, let's just say that the image of a magazine that folds out it implies certain things about what Hot Pop is getting out of this.
And it wasn't his bedroom next to his bed. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Amphibia.
Still alive and has emotions.
And you know he's been lonely for such a long time. You know.
But okay, is he going to die? Because now I saw Twitter post about his death count flags.
What?
And now I'm genuinely getting worried.
Oh,
first it was a gag.
Count, but I do agree that like I was so upset yesterday watching the Ulm episode where just like his
I just kept taking the gags as like actual just jokes. Cause like, will you die alone? Did you leave the stove on? It's like that's how old people think. But now I'm like, please don't let Hot Pop die.
But now
or like
his kneecaps are giving
at least
out.
in the epilogue. Really don't show him dying on screen.
I don't want him to die in the epilogue either. I want him to like find like a fountain of youth and just continue to be like old and slightly decrepit, but just get at least 15 more years. I feel like that's not too much to ask for Hot Pop.
Yeah. Nothing is too much to ask for Hot Pop. He deserves the world.
Yeah, I want to believe that they only included that subplot in the old episode just to remind you, like, he's around for his wisdom, you know? Like, he's not really keeping up anymore. I don't know, Alex. But...
I got really scared thinking about how old and decrepit he was in that episode. Yeah. It was really stressful.
The mother of Holmes was also pretty decrepit. Maybe she dies.
True.
And I mean, she's nice, but I wouldn't feel as bad if she was the one who died.
That's uncalled for. She was a nice lady and she helped them, and it's not her fault. Her ears are full of like gross earwags.
Maybe it's kind of her fault, but
she doesn't. Well, she I was gonna say she doesn't have hands to clean, but she does have hands, but they're like really small. They're not gonna reach in there.
Is there hydrogen peroxide in Amphibia?
That's a good question.
Since you need to clean your ears, you guys are just so silent. I was like. It's a thing, I swear.
I mean, if Newtopia has figured out how to build robots, I'm sure somebody's figured out how to clean out your ears in a more efficient way. One thing I did want to point out is that the Christmas episode, Rebecca Sugar had a whole song. That was cool.
About fried chicken.
It's been a while since Steven Universe. Yeah, she comments about
it
like
wasn't
a
just
about
chicken. Fried chicken, but it stuck out to me personally.
Yeah, because that's a Japan Christmas thing, right?
That is a Japan Christmas.
I didn't do it, but it can be done.
So that was cute, and seeing their character.
The cameos
the show.
Not cameos even, just the cast of voice actors or just actors in this season is pretty stacked.
Yeah, for real.
It's like kind of crazy. I'm wondering if they're gonna like get more famous people to voice like Andreas and his buddies in the flashback, or if it's just gonna be like kids or something. I don't know.
I would like to hear Keith David's young voice
Do a
just
young
same as like a baby.
impression, or they just like move his voice up 3 octaves to give
just
him a
pitch it.
youthful flourish. Yeah. I did like honestly love Sasha sleeping in the barn with Bessie and Michelangelo. That was some cute stuff.
And
oh
it was
my
also
God.
revealed that she dyes her hair.
Wait, does she?
Well, because she was like, of course this is my natural color.
Oh right, that's true. Yeah,
She's got to be a brunette. Come on, girl, dye your hair pink. It feels like too much happened. I don't even like. I know we started and
there's so much stuff. I mean, we haven't talked about Thai feud. That's another one of those episodes where we're getting like a sense of what Anne's family, like, you know, they had a restaurant. They had a full job thing, and Anne would help out, and that was a big part of her life. And like Sprig just wanting to like be included in the family. He's so upset that Anne's mom like doesn't tell him off, and it just treats him very respectfully, but like it's like not like an intentional cold shoulder, but just like the fact that he can feel that, you know, that wall between them because she's still treating him like a guest and not family. And then at the end, she like kind of tells him off. It's like, oh my God, he finally got accepted. That's so cute. Because like now Sprig has a mom, and that's just so much.
It's very wholesome.
It's very wholesome.
He's a family boy.
Yeah.
For some people, that fanboy voiced by Wayne Knight, they thought he was a big celebrity casting. So
who was it?
The Wayne Knight, he's like from Jurassic Park, Seinfeld. But Ned is that guy who's like just really wants the recipe.
Oh no, the food truck guy.
Yeah.
But he listens to Ribbit jump on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Wow, I totally forgot about that.
I mean, that's just an amazing detail. I mean, I wonder if they put it in because Matt doesn't really like that song, and I don't know how much.
Oh, so like, of course, the annoying character likes it, right?
I mean, that's not terrible, but he is like kind of obnoxious, so maybe it fits.
Kind of.
So yeah, we've covered a lot of stuff here in this season, and we got a couple episodes left. So we know all the titles up through the series finale, The Hardest Thing, parts 1 and 2 on May 14th. I don't know if there's anything you all are like, if you want to pick one thing that you're especially like waiting for to be addressed in these
big fight.
episodes.
Oh no, sorry, not
big fight.
Right, sure, that's a choice, right?
It's not something that has to be addressed. It's just something I would like to see because like I'm still never over No Big Deal. The whole scene, the music, and the freaking smoothness of the lines and the colors. The animation is cool, and that's my TED Talk. Thanks for coming. I don't know what else. I mean, there's so much. I feel like the FBI thing has to be looming in the background. Like everything is going to come together, and like everyone wants to take over the world, and it's going to be a power struggle, and blah. I'm excited.
Like I'm sure there has to be a moment where, because I guess like right now Anne and Sasha are still unaware about Marcy's conversion.
Definitely.
So
because when Mother Olm brought up the like creature, they were like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so like, you know, seeing them all where they have to be face to face with Marcy will be an interesting confrontation, right?
Drama.
It's gonna be very upsetting for them.
It's gonna be very upsetting for us.
But also, like, we've gotten so little of Darcy's personality. I just like want an episode of them doing evil stuff.
This is like,
that's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a Dungeons and Dragons reference. This is like when you're a warlock and you pledge yourself to like a betrayer god and you have to have them in your head, but then you can like talk to them. So what if Marcy's trying to like revamp their image? Like, we just gotta be really nice and play some D&D and like make everyone friends. You don't have to conquer anything. So what if they're influencing each other.
Internal battle inside her brain.
Yeah, definitely that.
Yeah.
But I could totally see Marcy trying to influence the creature in the end. Maybe it wouldn't work, but like she's a pure-hearted soul.
I Oh, go ahead,
Well, I
Alex.
was gonna say, I've seen a lot of fan art of like showing that stuff of like internal talking with the core monster, but we haven't seen any indication of that yet in the show. So that would be cool to see if like that seems to be a prediction that a lot of people are making, that's the dynamic going on right now. And I would love to see Marcy actually like making an effort to at least break through.
Yeah, she's a fighter. She almost got away during the bailout, the gay mom bailout.
Gay mom bailout.
I was gonna say I have one wish list item. It's okay if it doesn't come true, but I'd be really like, cause like the show's done a lot about like trying to bring back characters that have interacted with the main team in any length of time. Yeah. I just would really love to see Crumpet as part of the three armies. Wow. I want Crumpet to be there. I feel like he could be a force to be reckoned with, especially if he has legs and he's not a puppet, but he might be a puppet. I feel like that's still on the table. But like, can we please see Crumpet again? That would do so much for me.
I'm putting that on my wish list as well.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But it's something that is necessary.
Now, Wally's dad did show up for like a second in one of these episodes, so we know they're still around.
You guys, we didn't talk about Buffloggle at all.
I was gonna say we did.
Oh wow!
Impossible.
It reminded me. It's.
Oh my god!
Buffloggle and the Toady becoming a monster after
Toady
his
looks
pencils
good
break.
in a mohawk for real.
Mr.
He was
Braley,
rocking it.
I have notes.
I don't understand if Toady has confessed his love to the mayor yet or not. Like, are they already in a relationship or is he pining? It's very unclear, but like, I feel like they're definitely getting together in the finale at some point. How could they? Maybe they're gonna be our gay frog pairing.
We should have a MLM couple also because we have a lot of WLW Woolawools.
So Crumpet.
What is the sapphic term for men? What do you say?
I don't know if they have one.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm doing it.
While you look that up, there is a line that I think Toady says when he's like beating up somebody. It's like, that's how I dress the mayor in the morning or something like. That's
why I'm like, okay, you're dressing him in the morning. Are you like, well, are you? How do we say this?
Appropriately.
Roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
I was like,
well, I was just wondering, how aggressive is the dressing process that you're comparing it to this?
Maybe he just likes it better Toady, like, because Toady's a snappy dresser. Maybe he just needs his.
They're gonna be our Achillean couple.
Achillean? That's the.
Yeah, apparently.
Nice word
I like
too.
It.
It's too close to Achilles' heel, though.
It's strange. I'm not sure. There's we're going to go down a rabbit hole that's separate from this.
Well, I'm glad we learned vocabulary that I'm sure we'll get used in our discussion of Amphibia next time.
It's apparently because he was queer, Achilles.
Oh,
good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Anyway, sorry. That was my fault.
We'll look to see if the frogs and toads ever got into Greek mythology at some point.
I want to talk about the powers again, if that's okay, because I'm curious,
yeah, sure.
And like I'm wondering what are their because Anne's is super strong. What are the other two girls' powers going to be? What do y'all think?
You think they're going to be different?
I hope they would be. I don't know.
Yeah, because like technically Sasha is the one that's power, and Anne is the one that's more like heart.
And Marcy's wisdom. Yeah.
So I guess they're all just going to be like super anime, super Saiyan. Which is fine.
Every time someone says Super Saiyan, I like lose it. So
that's why it was done. It was intentional.
I hope so. I mean, it does make sense so that if their stones are charged by their separate skill sets, then why wouldn't the power also like be harnessed by that stuff too, right? Like maybe Marcy's got to do a really smart thing, and then she's gonna get cool green hair, and Sasha's just gotta like do a cool buff thing, and she'll get cool red/pink hair. I mean, because that like makes sense, yeah. And so because like
spark something.
Because like when Anne, because like the thing about like me thinking anger, because like heart's usually like a positive thing, but anger is the opposite of love, right? So maybe like it's like the opposite of what that they normally like what their strength is. That could, or like maybe like the dark version, like the shadow version of their.
The thing is, like, Sasha is ruthless in her normal state. So.
I know. So, like, what would that even look like? And, like, for Marcy, does that mean she has to do something careless? Would that be the opposite of wisdom? I don't know. But I do think it's interesting that, like, if it's charged by something negative and their skill sets are, I don't know, I guess neutral, what does that look like for each of them to harness the power? And is it going to, like, hurt them? Because
I'm also
Anne keeps saying, like, she doesn't like it when she has to use the powers and it makes her tired and pass out. And that's not good. So are they going to get hurt if they all have the power and they're, like, using it together and it's, like, even more power than separately? That could be, like, a really bad thing. What are they going to do about that?
Much tension. It's making me scared.
I mean, the
for
thing
our
is,
girls.
like, for the finale, it's called The Hardest Thing, and like that's a really scary title. Okay.
I just always assume it's like the hardest thing is to say goodbye because that's what everybody says.
Well, and also like the
It's
prophecy that we know as like their choice will determine the fate of all. So what if like the hardest thing is like
to make
the
a choice
they have to
making
end
the
up
choice?
making? I don't know.
That's true.
So they close the portals forever and you never see Amphibia again.
I have a question. Do you guys think one of the girls is going to stay behind in Amphibia forever? Because I kind of feel like there's like a 65% chance that could happen.
That's a random number.
Yeah.
No, but I think that there is a chance. Like, I'm not sure that Anne would be the one just because
I don't know. Her family's too great. She would. Yeah.
I couldn't see the other two staying either because like Sasha, she's too bougie though. Like she needs her nails done and have
you seen her war outfit?
That's fair.
I think she's got like the feral version of bougie now, and she likes that too. So I
think she misses iced coffee too much, honestly.
She might miss iced coffee.
And I can't see Marcy staying either, even though like
after like all the trauma, because like that's fair.
Yeah.
But like, what if Olivia and Yunnan adopt her?
That's I guess the most likely for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, all we know is her parents are divorced, so maybe two committed Newt mothers would be better.
I forgot her parents were divorced. That was revealed in the letter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it was writing the Christmas letters.
Is that Sasha's parents?
Yeah, Sasha's parents, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Marcy's parents. No, I'm confused.
No,
Sasha's parents are divorced.
Marcy's parents are the ones who are moving away.
Yes.
Yeah.
On that same like thread of like, do you guys think someone's gonna stay? I was gonna ask, do you think? Because I keep seeing people say like Anne's gonna lose an arm and Sasha's gonna lose an eye.
I've been hearing that stuff. I think
this seems similar to the Hop Death Flags.
It's the same crack theory forum where all these thoughts spread from.
I love the crack theory forums.
I love them too. It's just like whenever anyone wants to like really talk to me about it, is when I get mad. It's just such a cursed idea.
Adventure Time did it that one that with Finn and foreshadowing his arm, and then ever since everyone else does that.
That was the precursor. You're right.
I need to rewatch Adventure Time. I don't remember them foreshadowing that.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I don't. The only thing is Marcy, right? Like she's already been like physically
altered
in this process, so. Like, maybe she ends up with some, like, lasting thing, but otherwise, I don't really buy into the foreshadowing of Anne or Sasha yet.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot that's going to happen, and maybe, like, a fraction of it we'll be able to guess correctly, but a lot of it's just filling in information we didn't have.
There's so little time. And
I know,
so
it's crazy.
Much to do.
It's crazy to think this shows, like, it's ending, like, early May, right? Because we're like, almost halfway.
Or, like, mid-May, I think?
Yeah, May 14th is the finale, yeah.
That's close to Mother's Day.
So let's celebrate Mother's Day by none of them returning to their mothers.
Oh my! They become their own mothers.
Oh God.
Well, one other thing I did want to throw out with the prophecy stuff. Do we think that it's at all possible that somebody in Amphibia purposefully brought the girls here, or are we still like this is a total coincidence? Like because now that we've kind of gotten cleared up for sure that like it's these three people specifically that are fulfilling this to save Amphibia. Like who triggered that? Or did anything trigger that?
I think it's probably fate, but it also seems like they aren't like the only people who have been the three friends to activate the music box. They're like in a long succession of people, and they're just like the current day people that fit the bill. But like it seems pretty clear to me that Andreas and Horny Toad and Sprig's great grandmother, great grandmother, they were that too. Like they were each like their friendship power activated the music box, and then because they had a falling out, it didn't work anymore. And this is the first time in so long that three more people have shown up. So that's exactly how Andreas knows what to do, because he was that person in his youth. Yeah. So he gets it, and he's like, okay, I know. Gotta get them all together, gonna snatch the box, and then continue the plan from like 85 years ago that I started doing. So they're special in that they, were in the right place at the right time, but they're definitely not the only people that could have done this, probably, for Amphibia. It was just timing. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I was seeing some speculation of like trying to think about who did it, like if there was a person who triggered this. Somebody were saying like the frog, the amphibian from the Second Temple. I forget what her name is, but she's like in that like shadow realm up on top of the tower. But anyways,
I don't know what I'm thinking. I like have no thoughts. Head empty. I don't want it to end.
I want them to have a movie. I feel like they're gonna wrap it up pretty well, so maybe they don't need a movie. But I still think it'd be nice if they had a movie. Just do whatever they want.
They should have one.
Those last 3 weeks, like the three armies, beginning of the end,
they all sound pretty intense.
Like that all feels very like connected.
Yes.
Like in a way that I think like you could watch them all together. Like hopefully.
I think Newts and Tights might be the last fun one for the year, which is crazy. Unless Fight or Flight is also fun, but it might not be. I don't know. It's a more serious title.
I think all of them are going to be serious somehow, because we're winding down now.
Yeah, we are winding down.
All right, if you guys don't care about episode descriptions, I just want to say Fight or Flight is Anne tries to rescue an old friend from one of King Andrea's robot camps. Who is the old friend, Michelle?
Old friend. Well, we already have Frobo. Okay.
A crumpet.
Yeah,
I was trying to lead you there.
Did you consider Crumpet a friend? That might be.
Well, that's true, right?
I was thinking maybe that kind of sneaky teacher guy from season 1, but I don't think she would classify him as an old friend either. He was just a guy who made an impression early on. Old friend.
Are you? Is this like a meme? Is it not Marcy?
No.
Oh, well.
Wait, what? Oh no, maybe that's so obvious. Maybe it is.
That's what I was thinking. I mean,
Marcy, go check out one of those robot camps, make sure they're working fine. It's now's our chance or something. I guess.
It's Lady Olivia and Yunan, could they? But it's only one old friend, right?
Yeah, Olivia, I guess, counts as an old friend for them.
Maybe somebody she made friends with in... Oh my god, maybe it's Priscilla. That would be sick. What if Priscilla's the old friend?
Priscilla is the name of Hop Pop's...
No! Oh my god, how can you guys not remember the hottest character in the world? Priscilla's that giant buff newt who she did the shopping cart derby with.
Oh!
Yeah, maybe she's the...
Now that feels random enough that could be the case.
I mean, how many other old friends has she got? I mean, actually, Anne has a lot of friends. I don't know.
She's very popular. Is it not Marcy? I'm like...
Why wouldn't they just say Marcy? Why would they just say old friend? That's so vague. Probably is Crumpet. I mean, they must be saving him for something important. That's why we haven't seen him yet. He hasn't checked in.
Yeah, Crumpet has to be the star of one of the last episodes of the show.
if we don't see Crumpet, I'm gonna be upset. Like, I didn't even think about this.
We built up this
And I
like
need
very
it.
high expectation in
This
the
it's
last
not.
half.
I don't think it's too
I
high.
do legit want to
He
see
is in the
Crumpet.
universe, and he's probably gonna be plagued by war now. So it has.
He is plagued by war. That's right. Like, how is Crumpet defending the fancy town?
Yeah,
They
he's got to
can't
show up
play
somewhere.
their ball game anymore because
Mm-hmm.
they're defending themselves. Well, so I think with that we'll begin wrapping up the AmphibPod with the extended Crumpet discussion. Any final thoughts before we sign off here?
I just want more show. There needs to be more shows like this one. Like, it doesn't get enough praise for what it does. I feel like, I mean, I love the Owl House, but I feel like it overshadows the show a lot in a lot of ways. And it's just real good. And if you haven't watched yet, you should. And if you haven't watched and you're listening, you shouldn't be listening. Go watch.
Well, if you're not watching, I wonder how you've made it this far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
That
you
is
could.
true.
The algorithm works in mysterious ways.
Michelle, any final thoughts?
I love this show. I feel like 3 seasons feels really perfect for the story they wanted to tell. I'm still shocked we went to the human world and spent so much time there, because it is just like it just adds so much context and so many layers to relationships, and it's also just really fun. Like you guys were saying, like the frog out of water aspect of that is just like so fun, and I never would have seen it coming, but it was so nice that we got to spend so many episodes doing stuff like that. And now that we're pivoting back into full-time like army, end of the world, like ultimate battle vibes, I think starting off like a lot more chill makes sense. So now we can appreciate the intensity that's coming, and I think that's definitely going to make the end, whatever happens, really satisfying. I just really like the show. I'm glad they decided to do 11 minutes for each episode so we could have a bajillion episodes instead of half as many. That was a good idea.
Yeah, I think when you think back on the whole Los Angeles sidetrack of the show, like I think it makes sense that, like, given how like the drama was being ramped up at the end of season 2 before you get to
We
True
needed a
Colors,
cool
which is
down.
like climax. Yeah, like that felt like the natural way.
Yeah.
Like how else are we gonna pull back from here? We'll throw them into Earth and like give but like still like there's
Tension in the background.
Yeah, there's valuable stuff to dig into there with like Anne's family, like we talked about. So like it's not like it's a total like sidetrack from the character development or anything. But then like we spent just enough time there where it's like I'm missing Amphibia, and so we come back to Amphibia for the second half of the season. I know there was I've seen some complaints about the LA episodes, but I think that we were there just long enough where it's like we got to do our fun stuff, but now we can return back to
I think the timing was
Amphibia
done
with
well.
enough time.
Yeah.
So and just in terms of like recognition, I am excited to see. Like I feel like Amphibia talk online has gradually increased over the season. I would like to see like how much attention it gets as we get even closer to the finale, and like we get more epic scenes that people can share on Twitter or whatever. But like
Hopefully a lot.
yeah, so I'm like just like with True Colors, right? Like when that happened, like the internet kind of blew up for a bit. So I'm gonna relish being able to see like Amphibia blow up one more time, because it's no matter. I think it's a pretty sure thing that it will be an epic finale. However, it
for sure. I mean, I feel like it's not that they can ever replace the surprise of True Colors, but I feel like True Colors was such an important turning point in just like the greater story progression, and it just like characters and betrayal and stabbing. It's just like I don't think we saw a lot of that as like Amphibia's MO leading up to it, and now it's just like anything's on the table, and just that anticipation is also very, very exciting, and a headspace I definitely wasn't in before the end of season 2. So I feel like now if anyone didn't like the LA stuff, they're gonna like all the crazy stuff that's gonna happen from here on out. But the LA stuff's really, I mean, even just all the parent stuff, I don't know. I feel like looking back, that's gonna hit as like one of the the biggest gems of the show, which is Anne's relationship to the planters, Anne's relationship to the trio, and then Anne's relationship to her parents. I feel like those are the big three. And they spend a good chunk of time on all three of those, and I feel like that's like what matters most, maybe. It's just it's really good. It's really good storytelling. It's really good character stuff. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like this is like my deep secret thought I don't always talk about, but sometimes I feel like Amphibia's like a little too earnest while being also a little too on the nose. And so you get stuff that's just like very, like, it's a little cringe. But I actually really love this because I feel like if there's a choice between like going so hard, you might end up being a little cringe and like not subtle at all and just not even trying. I feel like it's much more, it's just like a more like handcrafted show feeling to just kind of go all in and just see like what hits and what doesn't and what might be like a little too much, what might be like just enough, and that's all anyone talks about for like 5 days. And I really appreciate that this show like consistently seems to want to just like go all in on stuff like that too, because they're very sentimental, they can be very sappy, and sometimes it's a little silly even when it's not supposed to be. But then, like, it's balanced so well by the moments that hit, like, just perfect. And no one, like, knows. Like, when you're making that kind of moment, like, you don't know how it's going to hit. So I love that they chose the path of just, like, trying for it wholeheartedly every time. And then just seeing afterwards, like, okay, like, would I have tweaked that? I don't know. But it's out there in the world now. And I did my best. And I'm a human being. And it's just good. It's just, I really like that kind of touch that Amphibia has, like, in spades. Every show is very different, but I feel like that's something I've noticed a lot with this show in particular. They're just willing to just lean in, like, all the way. They're not worried about how it comes across, and I think that's, like, fantastic. I wish I could be that fearless, making things like overly sentimental. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean the fact that like we're all invested in a lot of different relationships in this show, like from family and shipping and other like there's a lot of characters that you get invested in. I think that happens because of how like emotionally on how emotions on its sleeve.
Oh yeah,
it does that a lot in the show. And like coming off of like shows like Steven Universe that also like struggled with this criticism sometimes of
that
being
is true. That is
too
true.
earnest sometimes. But like I think that that's the balance. It's a balance that's tough to hit. But I do think that if you hit it more often than you miss, like that's
it's still a huge
ends
win.
up in that positive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
So yeah, as you can tell, we're excited to see how Amphibia wraps up, and we'll see when's the next time we talk about this. If it's like till the finale, or if something else pops up in between there, or who knows? But let us know if you've listened this far, or what your thoughts have been, and what you're looking forward to in Amphibia.
Tell us your crack theories.
Yes, please, crack theories.
Yeah, tell us your crack theories, and maybe we'll talk about them the next time we talk to see if they've come true or not. But yeah, thank you for listening, whoever's listened this far, and we'll be watching the latest episodes of Amphibia along with you. So thanks for listening, and talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.